A very warm welcome to our viewers in Nigeria and around the world. This is Politics on Sunday, live from TVC News Studio in Abuja. I am Femi Akonde. President Bola Tinubu has called on Nigerians to show more care for their neighbors and extend charity to all in the spirit of Eid al-Kabir. He said this when speaking with journalists after Eid al-Kabir prayers in Lagos on Sunday. The president said some level of sacrifice will be required to move the nation forward.
And we follow the path of sacrifice. Sacrifice being a very good citizen. It comes with responsibilities as citizens. What do you do as a citizen to be a very committed member of our society? That's sacrifice. Loving your country, loving your neighbors, share what we have with each other, and be thankful to Almighty God.
Wish all of us, the blessings of this season. It's for all our citizens, especially in Lagos, to commend them for their support, their resilience, and their belief in our government, to continue to appreciate them, that no matter how things are, we still have reason, to thank God. We still have cause to thank God, because in itself, the brightness of life, the fact that we still have life, in all of us is sufficient reason. And for our people not to give up, not to lose hope, because we see a positive, we see a positive outline out of this country. I was privileged to have attended, a conference in Bahamas, the Afro-Exim conference, and I know what the conversation is worldwide, especially within other African countries and other Caribbean countries. We explore, or we had conversations, and we know what the issues are. We need to just continue to thank God for our own, and hopefully believe that however tough the time may be, it's all in good causes, and we're beginning to see the benefit of it, in one form or.
Well, President Bola Tinubu's administration has stirred the honest nest by moving against state governors who have always refused to allow the local government function independently as the third tier of government. The federal government filed a suit at the Supreme Court seeking full autonomy for the 774 local governments in the country. In the suit, the federal government wants the apex court to enforce the autonomy of the local government, among other things, and also stop state governors from appointing caretaker committees to administer local governments in the state. The federal government wants the Supreme Court to rule that any local government manned by a caretaker committee instead of an elected local government chairman and councillors should have their funds from the federation account withheld. Everyone is watching to see the implication and interpretation of the Supreme Court's verdict on the situation in Rivers State, where the tenure of the council chairman expires on Monday. But the state governor is yet to begin the process for a fresh election. If the Supreme Court rules in favor of the federal government, Rivers State and many others risk having their funds from the federation account withheld. But for the Rivers State situation, a federal lawmaker and lawyer, Ikenga Ugochinyere, has said that the awaited Supreme Court judgment on local government autonomy will not affect tenure expiration of Rivers local government chairman. Ugochinyere urged the outgoing chairman to prepare handover notes ahead of their tenure expiration, adding that after Monday, anyone found parading himself as a local government chairman should be arrested.
the unrealistic quest by a group of outgoing local government chairmen that their tenure is expiring on the 17th to now say that whatever the Supreme Court rules, that they will remain in office. The judgment or ruling of Supreme Court is about the issue of the autonomy of the local government, not about local government chairmen who wants to enjoy tenure elongation at the expiration of their tenure. So there will be no tenure elongation in Rivers State, no matter whatever is the judgment of the Supreme Court, because judgment of the Supreme Court and the issue before the Supreme Court is about the autonomy of the local government. The issue in Rivers is that local government chairmen that their tenure is about to expire in a matter of few days, 17th or thereabout on Monday, is now planning to extend their tenure and stay in office illegally because former lawmakers in the Rivers State House of Assembly who lost their seat by virtue of their decampment, went to one bedroom in Emoha and came out and addressed the media and said they have extended the tenure of the local government chairman. You don't have extension in the democratic setting. That is I don't think they are rational thinkers. You don't have extension in a democratic setting. Democracy is democracy. It comes with a timeline. It's like a rock of Gibraltar. It cannot be moved.
Well, but the National Secretary of the Forum of APC Local Government Party Chairman of Nigeria commends the federal government for its notable demonstration of dedication to democratic ideals. He says recent legal action taken against the 36 state governors with regard to the autonomy of 774 local government areas in Nigeria highlights the government's unwavering commitment to democratic principles and legal integrity. This decisive move, they say, not only underscores the government's proficiency in governance, but also reflects its determination to fortify democracy at the grassroots level by ensuring that the executive chairmen of local government councils have the required independence to efficiently serve their communities. While joining us live on the program is the National Secretary of the Forum of APC Local Government Party Chairman of Nigeria, Norbert Sochukudimma. Well, also later joining us via Zoom will be the Director General, Center for Credible Leadership and Citizens Awareness, Dr. Gabriel Wambu. Well, let's begin with you, Norbert Sochukudimma. Hello, sir. Yeah, Mr. Norbert, can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Norbert, can you hear me? Oh, it appears we're having a little problem with that particular network. Mr. Norbert, you would have to unmute your device so that we can hear you. I can't even hear you. Hi, Mr. Norbert. Good evening.
Hello,
Mr. Norbert, good evening. I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Norbert.
Good evening, my brother. God bless you.
Yes, good. Well, speaking
Happy
on
Sunday.
I wish you the same very well. Speaking on the local government autonomy now, and we have seen the federal government's decision to ask the Supreme Court, to file a suit in the Supreme Court, seeking the enforcement of this local government autonomy, and then also threatening to withhold funds of state governments that are in the habit of interfering in the affairs of the local government. How far can this particular suit filed by the federal government go? Because this is not the first time we are seeing this advocacy for local government autonomy. Why has it been so difficult to achieve this and strengthen the third tier of government?
Yeah, I must say that it's more or less a misadventure that for so many years, this is 25 years of unbroken democracy. And the governors, I must say this with all respect to all of them, have held the local government chairman hostage in the sense that they've not allowed them the required independence to operate. Now, what the federal government of Nigeria, under the able leadership of our father, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has done by dragging the 36 state governors to the Supreme Court to ensure that all governments become autonomous is one of the best decisions that have been taken. We as local mobilizers, leaders at the grassroots, local government party chairman, APC chairman of Nigeria,
Mr. Nobet, have we lost that connection again? I can't hear now. Okay, well, do we now have connection with the Director General, Center for Credible Leadership and Citizens Awareness, Gabriel Wambu? I can't hear.
Have not been developed. It's one of the reasons that most of our local governments have not been developed. So most governors, state governors, do not want local government to become autonomous so that they will continue to control them and determine what happens. That's why it's been so difficult to achieve.
Let's. Some people have also argued that, even with the little resources getting to the local government, they have not properly managed it well, and that's why it suits the state governors' arguments that they still have to superintend over the affairs of the local governments, because these local governments have also not particularly been accountable.
If they have not enjoyed independence,
okay, well, Dr. Gabriel Wambu, let's see if your connection is better. Hello, sir. Good evening. Good evening, Dr. Gabriel. Well, we'll take a quick break at this point so that we'll sort out all of these connection issues. Yeah, hold on. Let's take a quick break so that we can sort out all of these connection issues. And when we return, we'll continue with the rest of the program. We'll continue our conversation. Don't go away. Well, welcome back. We now have the Director General, Center for Credible Leadership and Citizens Awareness, Dr. Gabriel Wambu. Hello, sir.
Good evening, Femi. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Good to see you. Well, we're talking about local government autonomy and the federal government's suit in the Supreme Court seeking to enforce this local government autonomy and urging states to all ensure that they stop the interference in the affairs of the local government. And, this conversation has been on for a long time. And the question or the conversation I was also having with our guest before we had that network issue is why it has been difficult to enforce local government autonomy, why state governors are refusing. So let's go.
Yeah, what is local government autonomy? Local government autonomy simply means that the local governments of Nigeria, 744 of them, should be allowed, to exercise their functions and powers, within, as dictated, as provided for by the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, and then to exercise, the discharge of their duties without interference, either by the states or by the federal government. In other words, it is the Constitution that gives the power to the local government in the same manner it gives the state, in the same manner it gives the federal government. But what do we have in Nigeria? We have a situation where the governors of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, operate the local government in Nigeria as if it is an appendage, as if it is a personal property. They do it in a manner that suggests that they control it absolutely. In other words, they've even gone ahead to create a joint account.
Well, Dr. Gabriel, if you can hear me, President Muhammadu Buhari signed an executive order, that's the Executive Order 10, in May 2020. That this order was to grant autonomy to the state legislature, the judiciary, and the local government. But it appears this did not do so well, because some people are saying instead of an executive order, what we need is a constitutional amendment. Do you subscribe to that? Yes, Dr. Gabriel Wambu, I was talking about Executive Order 10, signed in May 2020 by President Muhammadu Buhari, former President Muhammadu Buhari, seeking to grant financial autonomy to state legislatures, the judiciary, and the local government. But people have said this did not do much because it somewhat lacked some kind of constitutional backing. They say what the situation requires is a constitutional amendment. Do you subscribe to that?
No, I do not subscribe to that. What I opine is that this is purely a constitutional matter, and it is within the ambit of the Supreme Court of Nigeria to interpret these laws in a manner that our governors would listen and obey the laws of the land. What these governors are doing is that they are operating the local government authorities in Nigeria as if it's a personal property, as if it's an appendage to them. Can governors even imagine what would have become of them if the president and commander-in-chief decides to treat them in the same manner for which they treat local government? No, the answer is no. Just check out what has been happening in Rivers State, where even the governor is withholding the funds meant for some local government areas in Rivers State. He has decided to pay some and has decided to withhold some. Who gave him such powers? These things are not supposed to be at the whims and caprices.
Well, Mr. Lobet, let's bring you up here. Please weigh in on this. Another issue is with the state independent electoral commissions. We have also seen some states organize local government elections, but people have described these local government elections to be anything but democratic. Is that also not a problem? Mr. Lobet, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, I was talking about some state governments we have seen organize local government elections through the State Independent Electoral Commission. But people have described these elections to be anything but democratic. This is also a problem, don't you think so?
That's very correct. And that's one of the reasons we are applauding. We have applauded and they are fully in support of this move that the federal government has made. Most state independent electoral commission, they do not conduct election. It is just like a coronation of the candidates of the ruling party of that state, irrespective of the political party. And it's not good for our democracy at all. For instance, in Delta State, July 13, there will be a local government election has been announced by DSEC, Delta State Independent Electoral Commission. Most opposition parties are not interested because of the fear that even if they win in the field, the ruling PDP in the state will write name of people and declare them, and nothing will happen. Even if you say you want to go to tribunal, those panel will also be nominated or appointed by the state governor and the authority. So it's a big problem. As we speak, the campaign in PDP Delta State is at a written result. No opposition should even contest because they won't win. And this is not good for our democracy. This is where it becomes very, very funny.
Well, Dr. Gabriel, the biggest losers in all of these are the citizens, especially those at the grassroots. It has alienated them from government because the government at the state is a bit detached and far from them. But, hello, Dr. Gabriel, can you hear me? Dr. Gabriel, can you hear me? Dr.
Yeah,
Gabriel, are
if
you
you
with
can
me?
hear me, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you, Dr. Gabriel. Your audio, you would have to unmute your audio, Dr. Gabriel. Dr. Gabriel, you have to unmute your audio.
Certain functions, there are certain democratic functions that are expected, of the local government areas or local government authorities to exercise in the rural areas. These are places that ordinarily it will be more complex and more difficult for the federal government to get to the grassroots. But the third tier of government now is becoming a mirage as far as Nigeria is concerned. The elections does not even hold. Some of us have actually advocated that this state independent electoral commission should be scrapped, and all these elections should be migrated and be given to INEC. And these elections, every election in Nigeria, should be conducted in one day, so that there could be sacrosanct. Everybody will concentrate and face that election, and so that we have the semblance of true democracy in the Nigerian state.
Gentlemen, I must thank you very much for your time. Unfortunately, technology deprived us of the chance to enjoy our conversation. But that's all on the program.